Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, so today we're navigating a landscape that is completely shifting beneath our feet, the 2026 remote worker reality. Look, whether you're a digital nomad, a remote employee, or maybe an HR manager dealing with corporate mobility, the rules of the game have entirely changed this year, and we're going to break down exactly what you need to know right now.
Let's set the stage with a hard truth. The era of spontaneous travel loopholes is dead. 2026 is the year of institutionalized mobility. So what does this actually mean for you? It means host countries are absolutely done treating remote workers like long-term tourists. Now, they're treating you as structured, legal taxpayers. Basically, the Wild West of digital nomadism is officially over. It's been replaced by rigorous compliance, strict corporate audits, and heavily indexed income thresholds.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll quickly cover the 2026 remote work reality, then look at Path 1, long-term settlement, after that, Path 2, tax-free lifestyles, and Path 3, elite short-term stays. Then we'll dig into timelines and hidden traps, and finally figure out your next move. Let's get right into it.
Starting with Section 1, the 2026 remote work reality. Because, yeah, the rules have definitely changed.
You know those days of earning a couple grand a month and just effortlessly beach hopping? Yeah, those are officially behind us. Visas are now highly regulated, and crucially, they are directly tied to local economic indicators. Just think about these escalating monthly income requirements. Spain now requires 2,849 euros. Portugal has jumped up to 3,680 euros. And Estonia? They're at a flat 4,500 euros. The takeaway here is simple. As their local living costs go up, your barrier to entry goes right up with them.
Moving on to Section 2, Path 1, long-term settlement. These are your permanent paths. If you are a remote professional who actually wants to put down roots, seeking permanent residency or eventually even EU citizenship, these are your flagship options. Notice Spain's slightly lower threshold? That's tied to their minimum wage index, and it gets you a solid 3-year permit if you apply from within the country. Now, Portugal requires more, 3,680 euros, because they peg it to 4 times their inflating minimum wage. But here's the kicker. Portugal's key benefit is a direct, structured path to full citizenship. But hold on, because Portugal demands some absolutely brutal trade-offs. It's really not just about hitting that monthly income number. You have to spend 16 months physically present in the country during your initial 2-year permit. On top of that, you need over 11,000 euros in mandatory bank savings, just sitting there to prove liquidity. The immigration agency has also adopted a strict zero-tolerance policy for missing documents. And thanks to recent law changes, the path to citizenship for non-EU applicants can now stretch out to a full 10 years. This is a serious, long-term commitment, folks.
Now, contrast that heavy commitment with Spain, 24%. That number is the massive upside of Spain's famous Beckham Law. If you become a tax resident and you haven't lived in Spain for the past 5 years, you can apply for a flat 24% tax rate on up to 600,000 euros of income. That means you completely bypass their standard progressive tax rates, which, by the way, can climb well over 45%. It makes Spain incredibly lucrative for high earners who are willing to navigate that initial setup.
All right, Section 3, Path 2, tax-free lifestyles. This is all about maximizing your net income. If your main priority is keeping exactly what you earn, rather than putting down permanent roots, Croatia and Costa Rica are offering pure tax-exempt options. As long as you meet their income requirements, which is about 3,600 euros for Croatia and $3,000 for Costa Rica, your income tax rate on foreign-sourced earnings is literally 0%. No catch on the tax side. They leave your money completely untouched.
But of course, there's always a catch somewhere else, right? Just consider the strict timelines here. In Croatia, you get an 18-month maximum stay, period. It's non-renewable. Once it expires, you face a mandatory 6-month forced exit, where you literally have to leave the country before you can even think about reapplying. In Costa Rica, to renew for a second year, you've got to prove you were physically in the country for 180 days during your first year. Oh, and for both of these, absolutely zero local clients or employment allowed. None.
Now, Greece is trying to strike a totally different balance. Historically, you could just arrive as a tourist and figure it out. Apply for a digital nomad permit locally. Well, scratch that. That loophole is completely abolished for 2026. Today, you absolutely must secure a mandatory Type D national visa from the Greek consulate back in your home country before you ever step foot on a plane.
However, Greece balances out that massive new administrative headache with a staggering 50% income tax exemption. Think about that. If you commit to becoming a Greek tax resident and stay for at least 2 years, half of your income is entirely tax-exempt for up to 7 consecutive years. It is an unbelievable incentive, provided you're willing to play by their very strict new entry rules.
Moving to Section 4. Path 3. Elite Short Term. These are your premium temporary experiences.
So this path is strictly designed for high-earning specialists and tech workers who just want premium, short-term experiences. These destinations are using high-income and qualification filters instead of complex local economic indexes. Japan, for example, requires roughly $65,000 annually just for a 6-month stay. Italy requires 20,000 euros, but they restrict entries strictly to highly qualified professionals. And Estonia? They demand a flat 4,500 euros a month in gross income for a 1-year stay.
But let's zoom in on Japan for a second, because the hidden friction here is frankly massive. Japan's digital nomad visa does not actually issue you a residence card, what they call a Zairyu card. And without that card, you're essentially treated as a high-earning super tourist. You literally cannot open a local bank account, you cannot sign a traditional apartment lease, you can't even get a standard mobile phone contract. You're completely forced to rely on expensive serviced apartments and co-living spaces.
And then there's Italy, which throws up its own unique hurdle specifically for your employer. To actually get the Italian visa, your foreign employer must sign a formal, notarized declaration. They have to legally certify that the company has no criminal convictions linked to labor law violations or illegal immigration within the past 5 years, meaning your HR department faces serious corporate liability and potential legal audits just to sign off on your move. It's a massive, massive corporate barrier.
Okay, Section 5. Timelines and Hidden Traps. Time for the pragmatic reality.
Let's pivot to some pragmatic, no BS reality checks. As we've seen, spontaneous travel has been entirely replaced by rigid procedural steps. Ironically, for a digital nomad, you are going to be drowning in physical paperwork. You have to gather your documents, get them apostilled, and have them officially translated by sworn translators. Just a heads up, those translations alone can easily exceed 1,000 euros. You must apply from your home country, wait for the national visa, enter legally, and then you typically have a tiny window of just 3 to 8 days to register locally. If you miss that window, your visa can actually be invalidated.
And we absolutely have to ground this in some severe tax and corporate traps. For employers, having staff working abroad creates corporate permanent establishment risks, which basically means your company could accidentally owe corporate taxes in, say, Spain or Portugal. And for U.S. citizens out there, remember this, moving abroad does not erase your IRS obligations, not at all. You still have to file FBARs if your foreign bank accounts go over $10,000. You still owe a 15.3% self-employment tax if you're a freelancer. And if you want to claim the foreign earned income exclusion, you must pass a very strict physical presence test proving you are outside the U.S. for 330 full days in a 12-month period. Finally, Section 6, your next move, making calculated decisions.
I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Ask yourself, is your desire for global travel stronger than your tolerance for bureaucracy and taxation? Because in 2026, you can't just pack a laptop and figure it out when you land anymore. You have to strategically decide which path actually aligns with your financial goals, your employer's compliance tolerance, and, frankly, your willingness to deal with paperwork. Take these insights, align them with your life goals, and make your next move a calculated one. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.